Hey everyone, good evening. Welcome back to my channel. I asked you to send them a question for Q&A. The Q&A is not going to be today because I don't have even a small amount of questions right now, which is unfortunate. However, Mr. Engelhardt has asked me a couple of questions that are too important to ignore, I suppose. They deserve a video of their own. So the first question is, how are you gonna do this without? How are you gonna have a baby without um, a boyfriend or a husband? Is that something you want? Yes, my initial idea is, of course, to have a boyfriend who eventually becomes my husband, and after that, we'll have a baby together. That is in the future, but that is what I obviously would want most for a multiple different reasons, right? But unfortunately, things do not always go that way. And right now, I am struggling to really be dating because the guys that I have been dating, they're a little either self absorbed or too busy with their parents, or you know, not too busy with the parents the way I am, but in a way, one guy kept comparing me to his mother, and he kept saying you're a lot like her, and he did it in a very creepy way, as if he was looking for uh, a replica of his mother. So that made me very uncomfortable. I'm sorry if you hear me make any noises. I still have a cold, which unfortunately has not yet subsided the way I had hoped it would be. Um, but yes, I do hope to have a boyfriend or a husband, hopefully a husband, to have a child with. Um, so I recently made an appointment to have my fertility checked. I don't know what, why, and how, but the fact that I'm eating healthy, aside from the coconut milk, the fact that I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do dumb shit with my body, would suggest that I have a good chance, right, of just getting pregnant. Also, I'm not in my 30s just yet, I'm 29. I'm getting to 30 this year in August. My birthday is August 10th. So yeah, but yeah, I kind of find that funny. It's okay, but yeah, I know I do look older than I am, but that's always been the case, which has helped in some cases. I've bought a couple of games when I was like 14 that were meant for 16-year-olds, and they are a bit strict here in the stores. um, so yeah. Now the question how IVF works, or how I would conceive without a boyfriend or a husband. There are multiple different ways. Adoption is also an option, but adoption is pretty difficult, especially as somebody who has so many questions about my biological father. I don't know if I could go through that with another child, to have all of those questions, or I don't know. It's it is something I would want to do with a partner, but on my own, adopting a baby would be very difficult, especially knowing that there are so many people, so many couples waiting in line that, they have two parents, whether it be a husband and a wife, a boyfriend, a girlfriend, or two boyfriends, two girlfriends, whatever it may be. And I don't feel it right, at least for me personally, to adopt a child on my own. So to do that on my own. I know that that might sound hypocritical because I do consider having a child on my own, but I don't know, it is kind of difficult because there's a lot when it comes to adoption. There are a lot of rules, and having a baby by yourself with your own body is not exactly the same as adopting a child who is waiting for parents whose parents have been waiting for a long time, right? So yeah. Down the route of IVF, there are multiple different ways, but also without IVF there are ways. Donors do not need to cost anything, in a way of you can ask somebody to donate, and then the donation itself would obviously be either for free, or you can offer money, but you can just ask for it. There are multiple sites that I found that you can go to either ask for a donor, who can then people can then send you information and background story, PhDs, whatever degrees they might have. They can show you the childhood pictures, things like that. You can have contact with these people, so it's not a bad thing. Obviously, I would ask for a medical health checkup and all of that to make sure that nothing is wrong, but that is also an option. I think I've mentioned this site before, but there is a site called Longing for a Child, or it is a Dutch website. The Dutch version is Verlangen naar een kind, and this would mean you go onto the site and you look for people who are already offering to donate, and you can talk with these people, you can meet these people, and you can pick that way. And basically what happens is you either go to them or they come to you, or you can go through a clinic. That is also possible, but without a clinic is also possible. So they come to your house, they do that deed in the bathroom, so to speak, then they collect their stuff in a little jar, and then you have this syringe. The syringe would be about a normal size, but it has an attachment which is about this long-ish. I don't know. I've never seen it in person. I've only seen it online. So, and the attachment is like a straw, and this straw will go pretty deep to make sure that it gets where it needs to go. The way that this is really easy to do is if you track your cycles, your ovulation cycles, your menstrual cycles, to know the time and window. And at the time of ovulation, there is a high chance of pregnancy. And as that straw goes right up to it, basically, there is a relatively good chance of conception. So afterwards, you would need to sit in a specific position, with your legs up and stuff like that, to make sure that it stays there and not flow out. Yeah, this is a little awkward. Sorry. So that's that. That's the without the clinic part. But if you want to go through a clinic, then obviously you can bring your own donor. You can ask your boyfriend, your husband, your friend, whoever it may be that you have a child with. You can bring them to the clinic, and yeah, basically they do the same thing. They go into a room, collect their stuff, your eggs are harvested, and sorry, I'm forgetting a couple of steps. This is important. So for a woman, when we go through IVF, we would need to do shots for a couple of weeks. These are a booster, I think. They are making sure that the eggs mature pretty good, and so this is a little tricky for me to explain. I'm pretty bad at explaining usually, but basically what it does is you do daily injections into your stomach, and I believe it's for 2 weeks. And at the end of those two weeks, the eggs that you have in your ovaries are harvested, and they are then injected with cells with sperm cells from the person that you choose or have chosen to be the father of your child. And basically this goes then back into you. That's what I understand of it. It's pretty difficult. I don't know if it happens with a straw. I'm not 100% sure how they put the embryos, because after the eggs and stuff, after they combine the two, you know, if when the sperm cells are injected into the eggs, it's an embryo, and I don't know how they place them back in. I have not looked that up for a specific reason. I'm terrified. So there's that. Then I believe they do 3 at a time, and usually you would lose 2. One of them will stick, hopefully. Doesn't always happen, but that's the way it is. But usually you can harvest, I believe, up to 20 eggs at a time. It depends. It's not specific. It just depends on what they get and how many were successful extractions and how many were damaged. So it's pretty difficult, but those that are not used at that specific date can then be frozen into the freezer as either normal eggs or as embryos for later use. We come to the subject of payment. Well, as far as I understand it, I have not really gotten to this part yet. I've been so busy, I've not been able to look it up because I only read your questions right before filming. But this can be paid for by the government. We have the insurance will cover, I believe, two cycles, and what that means is 2 extractions. So if you don't get pregnant the first time of the first extraction cycle, which can harvest up to 20 eggs, then you can go for a second, and if that fails, I believe you'll have to start paying for yourself. But like I said, you can try multiple times within that first cycle, because like I said, you have 20 eggs. They usually use 3 at a time. The rest is used for later, and all of that is part of the package. That is what I understand of it. It's all still very new to me. It's all still something I'm looking into, but not really as much right now. But yeah. So largely it would have been paid for if that's the route that I want to go. If for some reason they don't, because there is a limit, there is an age limit, I do know that. And there's also an age limit as to when they will still do IVF as well. I believe the age limit here is 41 or 42. So I have some time. But yeah, it's paid for by the government, at least for the most part. Here comes the part, like, what if they don't pay for it for God knows what reason? I mean, they would. I have money set aside for it. So it's not a big deal. And yeah, so again, it should be fine. Obviously, they're not gonna pay for any donors. There's also the chance, by the way, if you don't have a friend that will donate for you, or if you don't have a boyfriend or a husband, again, hopefully a husband, um, you can, in fact, you can buy sperm from a sperm bank. That is possible. But, you know, you don't get to meet this person, and usually the children will not have a right to know them either, which can be a big disappointment to them. Let's call it that. So it's not something that I'm really considering as a high priority. It's more something that I will think about if I have to. But I still have a lot of work to do on myself. I still have a lot of work to do on my body. And right now, all of that is just set aside for a later date until I finally have the person that I want to do this with. Because like I said before, I'm not looking to do this alone. It is a big project. Let's call it that. It is a very big thing to just do, and a lot of things to consider. And I have been on dating apps, but dating apps are very shady. They're very strange. I have gotten multiple messages from apparently different men that were the exact same as somebody else's. Like, they work with letters, right? Online letters that you can read for coins or whatever. And I have read multiple of these letters from multiple different men that were like identical to the point. Like, I could compare them side by side, the same capitals, the same points, the same words, like completely copied. It's a copy and paste job, and you don't know who's real. That's the scary part of online dating. You don't know who you get. I'm trying to be as open and honest as I can be, but it's difficult because I have also had multiple emails stating that I was such a beautiful skinny person, and first I thought they were kidding, but reading further into the message, they weren't. And I've also chatted with a few of these just to see what their response would be, and they were not joking or anything. They just literally had not looked on my profile at all, and then they put into these messages that they did, and etc, etc. It's all very, no, it's a bit difficult right now. I'm kind of hoping right now that I'll meet somebody while I'm in the gym, but I'm working with a company right now to lose weight, which is a one-on-one session. So for now, it's not yet the gym itself. I'm not going by myself just yet. I want to, but I just not able to just yet. It's a work in progress. Let's call it that. So yeah, it's going great. I'm still losing weight. I believe last time I weighed in was 109 kilograms. I'm not 100% sure. It's been a few weeks. I try not to weigh myself because it can cause issues. I don't know if anybody can relate to this, but weighing myself, I mean, there was a point where I was weighing myself nearly every single day, and it's heartbreaking when you go up a kilogram and then only realize later, oh yeah, I drank some water or whatever. but it's difficult and it can cause issues. So I try to weigh myself every 4 to 5 months ish to make sure that it's not a big thing, it's not a big deal, because it's not really my weight itself that I'm trying to lose. It's the fat percentage that I'm trying to make go down. And so what I need to do is a lot of power training to make sure that that fat becomes muscle. Now, please do not get me wrong in any of this. I'm not trying to get a toned body. I'm not trying to become a bodybuilder at all. That's not it. It's just that I do have a very low muscle percentage. And so, yeah, it's just better for my body to switch it up. As well, for the fact that if I turn it into muscle instead of just losing the proportions, I don't know. I'm trying to prevent myself from having loose skin, which is a big concern for me, because loose skin is one of the ugliest things you can have as a younger person. At least in the capacity that it would be for me, right? I will make another video on that some point in the future, but right now I think I'm gonna leave it at this. We're at 21 minutes. These videos are getting longer. I'm always trying to keep it short. I think I'm gonna make a 5-minute video. It becomes a 20-minute video. I'm sorry, which means I'm probably gonna be late again. I can see the clock right there. I'm sorry. I did have to restart the video twice because I was having so many issues with my throat that it was driving me nuts. As you can hear, my cold is still going. But I always have a cracky voice, so I don't really know why. If you've wondered this, I think it's because of the nasal spray that I've used in the past. Because I used it for a longer time, which I wasn't supposed to do, but nobody told me. And so I got addicted. It's nothing harmful, it's just a spray that got my nose open, just against a cold. But yeah, be careful with those. Anything else? Nope. So at this point I'm gonna wish you a good night, and I hope you found this useful. I hope this video was a bit clear. I'm a little bit difficult in explanation most of the time. I don't do it on purpose. It's just difficult for me. I know what I want to say. I know what it means. I know what, why, and how. But I don't always know how to say it like that. If that makes sense. Again, I'm being vague. I'm being weird. Yeah. Have a good night. I love you. I will see you tomorrow.